Woo, child. So we finally got to see an episode of Baddies East where the girls weren't all in the same place on one episode, and there were multiple scenes this time. But what did y'all think about this episode? The same stuff as usual, fighting and arguing, but at least we were able to see a little bit more and hear a little bit more this time. But I'm going to say what I say every single time I talk about baddies, which is Natalie is horrible. She is such a mean girl. She's terrible. She's the prime example of how not to carry yourself as a woman, especially if you claim that you empower women. Natalie is horrible. And I actually, like, she's a common version of the black woman that, in the sense of, some girls or some women, you can't allow them to do anything for you because you're never going to be able, you're always going to be hanging by that thread. Like, you're never going to be able to live it down with this person because she's always constantly going to bring it up, and she's always going to constantly dangle that over your head. And I don't like that. Like, if you're not going to do something for somebody just because you want to, out of the kindness of your heart, and forget about it after you do it, I don't need it. Stay over there with that. Because it's just not, that's just not characteristics of a nice person. But anyway, Natalie and Scotty had their annual fight, as they always do on Baddies, and the storyline behind it just seems ridiculous. Like, oh, because Scotty's food came out and she had 2 plates and the other girls didn't eat. Why are we fighting over this and we're supposed to be best friends? Who cares? If my food comes out, if my 2 plates comes out before everybody else's, I'm taking it. I don't have nothing to do with what somebody else is not getting or eating. I don't care. Who cares? Like, and if you mad about your food, express your grievances with the restaurant that we're in. I don't have nothing to do with that. But I thought that was stupid, and I felt like it's definitely something underlying. But I was so happy for Scotty that she stood up for herself and actually went in that mouth, because Natalie definitely deserved it. And I can't really say who won and who didn't, because I just feel like the camera angles and the cutouts and the comebacks, they show it in a sense, in a form where you can't really tell what happened. But I do know that Scotty stole off on that hoe, and that's exactly what she get. I really want them to stop being friends, because I feel like Scotty is just not strong enough to be friends with Natalie. But whatever for them. Let's get into Rolly and Suki fighting, which, number one, Rolly, you like 6'2", 743 pounds. If me and my homie is in the same room, we jumping you. Period. Like, I don't even care. Like, Suki is probably 4'11" with heels. Like, no, girl, we jumping you. I definitely feel where Suki was coming from with her friend. And I don't even care that Scareface got in it, because she should have helped her with Rolly big ass. I'm sorry. We jumping you. Like, and if me and you is friends and we from the same hood, like, we really know each other for real, why would I go against you for a bunch of chicks that I just met? We jumping everybody. We all can fight. Like, no, I felt everything that Suki was saying. Like, girl, your character is in jeopardy right now, because how I'm going back and forth with a girl that's 3 times my size, and then somebody else joins in, and I'm going back and forth with both of them, and you just standing there letting it happen. It was clear and evident that the girl had ulterior motives. Now, Sapphire was trying to say, oh, I didn't jump in because you're defending somebody that I don't mess with, and that's all fine and dandy, but you still not going to jump on my homie, because I'm jumping in. Like, I'm not letting it go down. We'll discuss that later. Like, I'll get with my homie and say, girl, now you know I don't mess with Biggie. Why would you do that? Why you got me out here fighting over that? And then me and her would have been busting it up, laughing about it or whatever. But you're not jumping on my friend and you're 700 pounds. It's just not happening. Then Sapphire had the nerve after the whole thing was over, to sit down at a table with people that was just fighting and tussling and getting smart with your homie. What kind of sense do that make? Like, who taught you how to be a friend? Something is wrong with that picture. And I mean, I don't think them two should be friends either, but I mean, it is what it is. But I personally feel like either Sapphire had an ulterior motive behind not jumping in the fight, or she was just scared. Like, it could only be two things. Because it looked like next week she going to jump up to fight little behind Mariah Lynn over some type of discrepancy they was having. But you would jump up to fight Mariah Lynn when her and Suki was about the same size, but you didn't have no help for her when it was two chicks that was bigger than her. Like, girl, I just want to give an honorable mention to Sky, though, because she is so classy and calm and kind on this show. Like, I love her personality on this show, because I just feel like with all the other shows that she's been on, she wasn't able to show her softer side. But she's really been a sweetheart on this show, like, for real. Another thing that I don't be liking about the show, though, too, is that, like, after we rumble, right, I'm not going to have a sit down with you afterwards. Like, after we rumble, we're done. Like, we're not going back and forth after that. If we end up talking after that, or we somehow end up being back friends or back cool or whatever, it's just going to happen naturally. I'm not going to come through trying to have a little chit chat with you after we just was rumbling. It's not happening. But what did y'all think about this episode? I feel like this season is a little long. Like, can we get to the reunion already? Oh my God. Because I'm tired of this cast. And this is going to be my last stint with Baddies. And I don't know if I'm lying or not, but we'll figure that out later on when they come through with the next trailer.